student that I'm coaching and who will do her presentation exactly on this topic. She's only starting, but I think we're already trying to bring together some of the material that we have. After that presentation, we will switch to the panel. So, floor is all yours. You can
use this. Thank you for the introduction. So yes, my master's thesis will be about responsible sourcing and procurement of pharmaceuticals in Belgium specifically. Yeah, and some of the things I will say will echo also what Anna had to say. So why look into pharmaceutical supply in Belgium specifically? Generic drug manufacturing in low and middle income countries has made medicines more affordable for people in Belgium and people in Europe. But studies find strong indications of manufacturing practices that result in environmental damage and decent work deficits, affecting workers and communities who live in these areas, as Anna elaborated on. We have the Federal Agency of Medicines and Health Products that enforces good manufacturing practices to ensure the quality standards of imported pharmaceuticals, mainly focused on safety issues, environmental practices, and sustainable manufacturing practices. However, information is still lacking if and how the agency and other supply chain actors provide environmental and labor safeguards in the supply chain itself. So greater clarity is needed about their human rights and environmental risks and impacts throughout the whole pharmaceutical supply chain, the safeguards that are in place and their effectiveness as well. So Belgium is a key player in the pharmaceutical sector. Debates center around sustainability, safety, and there's emerging focus on environmental concern. However, insufficient attention is paid to manufacturing processes and social aspects, as with the case in Sweden. And this elaborates on the supply chain of pharmaceuticals in Belgium. There are some key differences between the procurement process in Sweden and the procurement process in Belgium, mainly that the Belgium is more decentralized, whereas in Sweden there's more centralized procurement, especially with hospitals. So there's public procurers who make purchasing decisions. But in the case of Belgium, pharmacists and healthcare providers can directly purchase their drugs based on the list that was approved by the federal agency. So this kind of results in higher visibility in the end sale, but also lower visibility in the primary manufacturing practices, because often the origin of where the manufacturing is taking place is not disclosed. So the risk-based assessment that is conducted looks at the number of APIs and the complaints that come through, but not really focusing on the origin of where the process is happening. So is it likely that the import from India to Belgium is different from India to Sweden? In 2014-15, India exported over $15 billion worth of drugs, with the European market accounting to 20% of this, which is approximately $3 billion. Also, Belgium imported almost $76 million worth of bulk drugs and drug intermediates, and almost $158 million worth of drug formulations from India itself between 2017 and 18. So the hypothesis that will be tested in the master's thesis is that there's not really substantial evidence that there's a significant difference between Belgium and Sweden in terms of pharmaceutical imports in the supply chain. And similar risks and impacts that were previously discussed can be expected, but there needs further investigation to be able to support such a strong claim. So one example is Aurobindo, a prominent Indian manufacturer in the Belgian market, which is accused of being one of the contributors to pharmaceutical pollution in India. The activities of Aurobindo have also raised concerns about potential health risks to local communities. And in general, the pharmaceutical manufacturing in India is classified as a red category activity by the Environment Ministry due to the hazardous waste it generates. And this is a map of where the companies of Aurobindo were located by a Nordia report, which also explores this issue. So some challenges in research is that the pharmaceutical supply chain in Belgium has limited transparency, making it difficult to trace and understand the flow of products, especially in the upstream part of the value chain. There's also reluctance in disclosing the origin of APIs and the final products available in pharmacies. Information regarding the pharmaceutical supply chain is challenging to access with limited data accessible online. And finally, research on responsible procurement and the pharmaceutical supply chain in Belgium is understudied. So this highlights the further need to kind of explore more and understand it and different parts of the supply chain especially. So finally, the next steps is to start engaging with gatekeepers of the information for the pharmaceutical supply chain. So we reach out to the Belgian Ministry of Health, the Belgian Ministry of Development Cooperation, to play their role in facilitating policy coherence between Belgian health goals and those of producing countries. We also want to reach out to pharmaceutical companies in Belgium and different stakeholders in India. So finally, reconstructing and assessing the pharma value chain between India and Belgium. We'll start by assessing the environmental and human risks, studying existing safeguards, and studying how transparency can be improved, of course, while ensuring that strategic and security concerns are considered. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louna. So this is work in progress, just kicking off, but in the coming months we'll be delving deeper and hope to count on some of the inputs of also people here